Hey family, hope you guys are having a great Sunday. So my son is asleep and I wanted to come out here in my car and talk to you guys for a second and tell you something that God did for me. And I thought about this and I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, do you really want to tell 22,000 people this? And I said, you know what? Yes, I do. Because I don't want you guys to think that I am some perfect person and that I want to be portrayed that way, because I'm not. And I go through things just like everybody else does. I have my issues, my problems. But I'm going to share this with you guys today because I think it's really important for you guys to see how good our God is when we put our trust and faith in Him and ask Him for things. And because He says that He wants to give us the desires of our heart. And I think a lot of people they just don't ask Him. But I want to tell you guys what happened to me. So, for the longest time, I have wanted a new vehicle because I have been driving around. It was a 2012 Jeep Compass. It had 145,000 miles on it. And I had paid cash for that about a year ago. Just because, so to be honest, when I was younger, I didn't really have anybody to teach me about, building your credit and how to go about things the right way. And so I went through a lot of trials and tribulations, and I learned things the hard way. It's just because I didn't have anybody to teach me those things. So I was just paying cash for everything because, I don't know, I was just young and dumb, I guess. And so I had been driving around that Jeep, and we had drove that up north when we went and visited Shane's parents. And it had overheated a little bit because we were going through the mountains and stuff, and it was just racking up miles. And so after we came back for weeks, because I'll let you guys in on a couple things. So background story, used to be in hospitality management, so like different resorts, I was in management, and I basically got burnt out. So when I moved to the town where I live now, to be with my husband, I got into the automotive industry, and I was a business development manager for a couple different stores. So for a couple years now, I've been working at different dealerships, and so I work with people every single day, credit applications, finance applications, different banks, trying to get people approved. So I know exactly how the game goes. And so I've been looking online at different vehicles, kind of just wishing and dreaming, because like I had told y'all, I hadn't been smart about building up my credit throughout the years. So I got to a point here recently where I became a ghost. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's where you haven't gotten anything on credit, or you haven't established any credit in a while, so you don't even have a credit score. You're a ghost. And so back when I was 18, I got my very first car from CarMax, and I didn't really have anybody guiding me at that time either, and I was completely taken advantage of by them. And they had put me with a third-party lender called Santander. And if anybody doesn't know about Santander, it's basically, it's not one of your good banks like a credit union. It's a third-party lender that they will put you with if you are a first-time buyer, or you just don't have any credit, or you don't have good credit. Well, at that time, I was young, so I didn't have any credit. If I would have had somebody guiding me, I probably could have gotten with a good bank with a decent interest rate. Well, I went up there by myself, and long story short, they took advantage of me. So I got myself into this Nissan Altima that I couldn't afford. I was struggling to make the payments every month, and I had it for a little while, and I ended up deciding on letting it go back, and this was 7-8 years ago. And so ever since then, I had just been buying vehicles cash because I had gotten myself into a repossession, and that follows you for a really long time. And so fast forward, it didn't completely drop off of my credit report. I still have that repossession from 7 years ago following me around and haunting me. They did say it should drop off this year or next year. So anyway, so I'm sitting at work and I'm like, you know what? I'm just, for giggles, I'm going to reach out to my bank and just see if they will approve me for a vehicle. Knowing in the back of my mind they're not going to do it because I'm a ghost, for one, and I had this repossession. I have no line of credit. Why the heck would they approve me? But I was thinking, I've been with this credit union for 7 years. I said, so let me just try. So I call and I'm on the phone with the guy and I'm giving him my information. I'm like, I said, I'm just doing this just to see. I know you guys are going to deny me. I don't have any credit. I've been at my job for a while, and I don't have any moments where like I've been out of work. It's been, I've had a consistent, I've had consistent money going into the bank for ever since I've been with you guys, but I've seen it. I work in the industry where ghosts, people that don't have credit, either have to have a cosigner, you have to have a lot of money down, or you just don't get approved. Like, that's how things go. I work with these people every single day. I see how it goes. I know it to the T. So I'm like, I'm not going to get approved, right? So I finish my application, and the guy submits it, and I guess if you have decent enough credit, then it will automatically approve you. Like, it'll just approve you. Well, the guy says it went into review, and I'm like, great. It's definitely not going to get approved, because he says, well, now somebody has to manually go in and take a look at everything and decide if they're going to approve you or not. So I said, okay, well, thanks a lot. And so the guy calls back. He says, give me your trade information, because I have a paid off trade. And so I gave him my information, blah, blah, blah. So I get off the phone and I start praying. And I say, God, he knows that I have wanted a vehicle for a very long time, because I've always had older vehicles that, I had to trade out of and trade for something else and pay cash for, because they're always up in miles or something was happening to them. And I said, God, I really, really need a new vehicle. I want a new vehicle. I said, if you want me to have this, you're going to have to make this happen. It's going to have to be by the grace of God. Like, this is going to have to be from you. You're literally going to have to, like, put it into that person's mind who goes in and manually looks at this application. You're going to have to make this happen. I have a repossession that's been following me for so long. I haven't built up any credit. Mind you guys, I had went into my bank about probably 7-8 months ago and tried to just get a credit card from them, just to like start establishing some credit, and she turned me down. Like, she didn't want anything to do with me. Like, I couldn't even get a small credit card through them, which was crazy, because I was like, I've been with y'all for so long. But anyway, so I'm praying to him, I'm like, God, you're gonna have to make this happen for me. I said, and you know what, if you don't, it's okay. I still have faith that if, something happens to my vehicle that I'm driving now, I'll be all right. So, and man, like, I was just telling him, like, Lord, I really, really want this. I want a new vehicle. I said, but you know what? If not, it's okay. And just completely going to my Father like a child. You know what I mean? Like, I really want this. So I go home, because the review process had, it was going on or whatever. I go pick up my son. I go home. I'm sitting on the couch. And I get a call. And the guy says, yeah, is this Chelsea? And I said, yes. He said, I'm calling about your application. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm thinking he's about to tell me that I got denied, right? He says, congratulations, you've been approved. I said, what? I literally said it like that. I said, are you kidding me? He said, no. Yeah, we've approved you for so and so amount. And I said, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And he was like, no. And I literally started crying, like I'm bawling, thanking God at the same time. I'm like, okay, well, you know, what's the interest rate going to be? And the guy tells me the interest rate, and I'm like, oh, and it was literally like a really good interest rate, because people like me who are ghosts, get like a 20 to 30% interest rate. It's like something crazy. And so he tells me this interest rate, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And like, I automatically knew like this was from God. And I said, okay, well, you know, with the loan amount, you know, what are the payments going to come out to? And he said, yeah, based upon the amount that we've approved you for, this is going to be your payment. And he tells me, and I'm just completely floored, because it was cheap, like a cheap car payment. And I just was bawling, because this was literally from the grace of God. And you know how I tell you guys that, like, if you're a ghost and they say like, oh, you need a cosigner? No, he said no cosigner, doing this, like, you're approved by yourself for 100% of the loan, meaning I don't have to put any money down. It's for the full amount. So yeah, I can literally go into the dealership, pick out a vehicle that matches, you know, the money that they approved me for, you know, after taxes and dealer fee and all that stuff, completely taken care of. Guys, this was by the grace of God, because I asked him, and he wants to give us the desires of our heart. So guys, I'm in a brand new Chevy Equinox LT. So check this thing out, guys. It is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's got the touch screen. It's got the look, I've got backup camera now. It's got the Apple CarPlay where you can hook your phone up or whatever and use your GPS. For anybody who knows like credit and financing, all that stuff, you guys know what I'm talking about. People like me don't get stuff like this with a good interest rate and a good payment. And I am just so appreciative. Like, literally, I knew this was from him. And I said, thank you so much. Like, God is so good. And my whole point to this whole video is that he wants to give us the desires of our hearts. He wants us to have the things that we want. Now, I'm not a materialistic kind of person. Like, I don't have to live in the nicest house. I don't have to have the nicest of things. But God knew that I was, first of all, I've been wanting to like find a way to build up my credit. And this is the perfect way. Like, now I have the perfect opportunity. These payments that I make are going to build my credit. I'm in a brand new vehicle that I'm able to get my son to daycare and get myself to work, you know, point A to point Z. And something reliable and something that is nice. And God wants us to be able to have the desires of our hearts. And, you know, it's not about having the nicest of things. But at the same time, God doesn't want us to be driving around in a beater. You know what I mean? He wants us to be taken care of. And, like, I was just so at awe. Like, I'm so thankful for him. And this is the kind of God that we serve. He makes miracles happen, because if it wasn't for him, those people would have denied me. I know it 110 gazillion% in my soul. I know that, because I do this stuff every single day. I work with people that don't have credit like me. A lot of the times they get turned down, and if they don't get turned down, they need a cosigner, or they get stuck with a third-party lender like Santander or CAC or something like that. God is so good, and all you have to do is literally just talk to him and communicate with him and tell him your troubles and ask him. Just, if there's something that you want, ask him, because he's good and he loves us. And he wants us to have, like I said, the desires of our hearts. And I'm just so at awe that he did this for me. and that he made this happen. And it just makes me so excited that, you know, that he loves me. And he's just so good. And so I really don't even know how long I'm going to be in this vehicle, because I know the Lord's coming soon. So I just said, Lord, I need something. You know, we can't stop living our lives. You know, it's not smart to go sell your home and sell your car and everything, because we don't know the day that he's coming back. We do know that he's coming soon, and so we occupy the time. And God is good. So I hope that you guys get something out of this. I hope you guys can appreciate my honesty with you guys. I don't care about telling you things about this, because I feel like somebody will get something out of this. You know, I don't claim to be perfect. My life is not perfect. I don't have the perfect everything. But, you know, I've always, from the very, very get-go, I've been honest and raw and genuine and real with you guys. And I hope you guys can appreciate that. So I'm so thankful to the Lord to have literally made this happen by a miracle. And I'm so happy that he gave me the opportunity to be able to build my credit and get it where I want it to be. Because the worst thing is to have bad credit or no credit and not be able to go get something that you want. You know what I mean? So, I love you guys. I wanted to share that with you. God is so good. He is amazing. He's the best father. If you don't have a relationship with him, you need one, because he's got your back when nobody else does. He's got your back when nobody else can do anything. He is the creator of this universe. He can do whatever he wants. And that's an awesome thing to say, that we are his children. So amazing. So I hope you guys have a blessed day. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.